Welcome back to Procrastination Garage. My name's Matt. All right, what's in store this week? We're going to do some winterizing, and we're taking the green truck up in the mountains into the snow. Going to do a little work up there. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode, so let's get started. Problem with a long Indian summer is that when it ends, it ends. Last night's low temperature early this morning was 24 degrees. Now I'm sure it didn't get below freezing in the shop, or probably not much below freezing. So the motorhome is probably okay, but we have not winterized it yet. We need to do that. Now, temperatures over the next few nights are not going to be dropping below freezing, but I think next Tuesday it's supposed to be down to 13 degrees. So let's go ahead and knock this out this afternoon. The longest part of this process is really waiting on the water tank to drain. So let's get started. The drain is under the bed in the back. Got the bed all propped up. Of course, you'll never see it. I just got to reach down there and find it. She's peeing. All right, now we just got to wait. It's a long wait. We'll find something else to do in the meantime. Yeah, don't forget, we still got this pile of lumber that we cut up that we've got to make into some shelving units. That's got to happen here pretty quick. While we're waiting, we can winterize this tank sprayer. I need to fill it up with water and flush it out, and then I need to run some RV antifreeze through the pump. I have filled the tank up a couple times and drained it. It's clean on the inside, so now what I've done, this is the inlet that goes into the tank, and I remove that, and then I have a dedicated line there that I just put down into some RV antifreeze, and in theory when we turn the pump on, it'll pump that on up and through. Let's see if it works that way. I don't have a ton of antifreeze in here, unfortunately. She's not pumping. All right, that didn't work. Plan B. What I suspect happened, and it's my own fault, and we'll call it procrastination, is that this tank sprayer had some tree spray in it all summer, and that's what was in the pump. And my guess is that the pump diaphragms and the tree spray did not get along, and it's not pumping like it's supposed to. Now it's really going to suck because I just put this pump on there this year. Hopefully I can tear it apart and fix it, and or get a rebuild kit for it, and I don't have to buy another pump. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to physically unbolt the pump and put it in a warm place so it doesn't freeze up, and then I'm going to stretch this line out here and let it just gravity drain. It's just rubber, so if a little bit of water's in there, it won't be a problem. And then the sprayer end, I always take it off and bring it in the house and clean it up real good, and then pack it away until spring anyway. So not a huge deal. So let's get the pump unhooked. We have this electrical connector to disconnect, and then we have 4 Phillips head screws to unscrew. And then we need to disconnect the inlet and the outlet, which are just a little slide, just slide them, and then these pull out. And same way on that side, slide it, and they just pull out. Yeah, if you look up in there, you can see that nasty white stuff. That's some of the tree spray. And so I don't lose the screws, I'm just going to thread them back down in here. Gravity is our friend, the hose goes off through the leaves out into the grass there. Remaining water is draining out of it. Here is here's a spray nozzle I use for spraying trees. I bought it from Northern Tool, and boy, it works good. It's got a lot of adjustability to it. It'll shoot spray long and hard or misty, whatever you need. It's a good tool to have. And it tears all apart for easy cleanup. And I did manage to spill a bunch of RV antifreeze too, of course. And there she sits, maybe till spring. I'd like to get it inside when I got some more room. I don't like leaving things outside, but anyway, it's all drained. Didn't happen the way I wanted it to, but it'll be fine. We just gotta get that pump tore apart and see what's going on with it. But hey, we always need something to do on Procrastination Garage, right? It's now the next day, and I'm still draining water. I forgot how long it takes for the water to drain. It's just a little itty bitty drain, and it's taken a long time. So last night I ended up having to put the motorhome back in the shop just to make sure it wasn't going to freeze, which it didn't. It stayed above freezing last night. So anyway, we're still draining. It'll be a little bit. In the meantime, we're going to run some errands. In fact, one of the things we're going to do is go drop our ballot, because voting day is next Tuesday. So by the time this video comes out, it'll have already happened. So I hope you guys got out and voted. I finished running my errands, and then I had to move the motorhome up here to the flat part of the driveway. When I had it parked here, it can't fully drain because the drain is at the front of the motorhome, or towards the front, and needed to sit, because it sits nose down a little bit, so it really needed to be parked up here. So it's done draining now. It's about 2:30 on Friday. I've got an hour and a half to get this thing winterized and out of here before my wife gets home, because I don't want to get caught being in her part of the driveway. So let's get to it. That should be about all we need to get this job done. We've got the air compressor. I've got another hose because I can't quite reach the other side. This little adapter that I built that screws into the water supply and has an air fitting on it. Some antifreeze to go down the drains. And then a socket set, because the first thing we need to do, hot water heater. We need to pull the little anode out of it and make sure that it's fully drained. As it turned out, I need an extension too. Alright, so is there going to be any water in there? Oh yeah, a little bit. Alright. That'll just take a second to drain. After it's done draining, I will screw that anode back in, cinch it up, and in the meantime, let's get the air hooked up. There's actually quite a bit of water coming out of this. I didn't think it would be that much. I was hoping that it would siphon out because I had faucets open and going out the drain, but apparently not. Doesn't have to be watertight. I've got the anode screwed back in now that the water's drained. And I had all the sinks open to help it drain, so I need to close back up. If you hear that air, that's what little air was left in the air compressor when I hooked it up. And spitting a little bit of water down there. Okay, now let's fire up the compressor and pressurize this. Almost forgot I had to come back here and close the valve down in there too. What you doing, Bear? You hiding from me, buddy? The pressure just kicked off. The compressor set to about 140 psi, and the working pressure is about 50. Usually I have it around 60. So what that means is that right now the water tank and the hot water heater and all the lines are pressurized to about 50 psi. So now we'll go inside and we'll start making sure we get all the water out. You have to pardon the mess in here. This, I don't keep it as nice as I should. There's no doubt about it, but it's functional. Anyway, hot and cold water, turn them on, pump the water out. Shut it off, turn the hot on. The same thing. Come into the bathroom, do the same. See, already we've got most of the water out, but not all. That's looking pretty good in the shower area. Here the air compressor kick back on. And then don't forget the valve on the toilet over here on the side. So we're actually sitting pretty good. With the bulk of the water out, I kind of go around and around. I keep coming back to a faucet and I go to the next one, I go to the next one. Just run some air in there, because what happens is water will settle back in the line, and then when you open it again, it'll blow some out. The goal is not to drain the thing 100%, that's just about impossible. The goal is to make sure that there's no water that is sitting in a full line to where when it freezes it can crack the line or one of the joints like a 90 or something. So we'll do a good job. We'll get most of the water out. See, there's not a whole lot coming out. Mostly air, but there's just a little bit in there. So close that back up and I'll go do the other ones. I'm satisfied with where we're at as far as getting all the water out. So right now, I just got the valves open and the air compressor shut off, so it's just going to keep pumping air through it until the air compressor is down to 0. So when we do that, then what we'll want to do is open all the faucets, and then there's 2 valves down underneath the sink area here that we need to open, and then we'll reopen the one at the back for the draining the big tank, and then we'll call that part of it good. Okay, air's disconnected. Make sure all the valves are open. They are at the sink there. Back here at the shower. Here in the bathroom. Everything's open. Can't do anything about the toilet. You know, one thing I didn't do is there's this little sprayer here I didn't do. We'll trust it's okay. I guess worst case we'll replace it in the spring. And then come back here and reach down in here. That one's now open. And then there's 2 more in here, which best way to reach them, pull that drawer, and then you can't even see them. I'm shutting you off. All right, now you can see them. I turned the light on the camera. So the only thing left is some RV antifreeze down the drains. We got a little solo cup here, not a real big one, about 7/8 full, and just pour it slowly into a drain. And then you want to do this at all your drains, which means the sink in the bathroom and then also the shower. Well, we got one cat came to visit. How you doing, Bailey? Yeah. She's like, Dad, leave me alone. I'm going to go ahead and loosen the hot water heater anode again. Water may have been blown in there that may not have come back out. Probably not enough to matter, but we might as well make sure there's nothing trapped in there that will drain out on its own if I loosen it. Nope, nothing came out. That's a good sign. Anode reinstalled and cover put back in place. So the last thing, remember you've got drains for your sewer. You've got a black tank and a gray tank. And you want to make sure that at least your gray tank is open and fully drained. You can see there's a little bit of water dripping out of there. I've got the black tank open too because I emptied the thing before I brought it back from the last camping trip. So I will actually leave these open throughout the winter. Just if any residual water finds its way through, it won't freeze up and bust these valves here. My wife won't be home for at least 35 more minutes. So maybe we can get this thing washed a little bit. You know, If you look up there, there's a whole lot of bugs. We're not going to get rid of all those bugs and probably down on the hood. But the thing had been sitting outside for a month or so, and it has a lot of pollen dust on it. And plus it was just kind of dirty from the last trip. So a quick bath is in order. I'm calling it. She's done. Wife isn't home. It's a good thing. Now, let's get up close and look. See that there? That ain't clean. Look at all the bug guts up there. That ain't clean. But we got the big chunks off, and it's good enough. Maybe as winter progresses, if we get bored and we need something to do on Procrastination Garage, we'll pull it out and start to polish on a little bit. So the only thing I've got left to do, I'm going to put some tire spray on the tires. Why, I don't know, just because I feel like I should do that every time I wash a rig. And then it's time to put this back in the shop, and she could sit there till spring. I doubt it, but she could. There she is, parked. Had to be careful to stay over far enough to not be parking on my forks or my tractor, because earlier I was pretty close to them. Usually it doesn't take that much effort to get it in here, but usually I can back in more from where the green truck is. So trying to maneuver around the green truck and then get it far enough over, because you got to get it in there somewhat square, because you've only got so much width to work with. Last time I did it, it actually went in on like the second try. This time, not so much. Of course, I had the camera running this time. No big deal. It's in. So, look down here. This is where I ran the mower a couple episodes back and picked up leaves. There weren't really very many leaves. Now look. And it's only just begun. That tree's not even dropped them yet. Fun. What can I say? I'm a liar. I said a couple videos back that I was going to take this wire loom and put it up out of the way before I drove the truck. And then what did I do? I drove the truck anyway. But I only went a few miles. Tomorrow I'm headed up in the mountains, so we're going to be gone most of the day. And I just soon not have it hanging down, so I'm going to go ahead and, I don't know, zip tie it up there somewhere. I'll show you. That's better. I tucked it up into the engine bay, zip tied it to this little canister here, which is still not going anywhere. It's zip tied in there good. And I even trimmed up this zip tie and this one down here that were just kind of hanging. So this will get me through tomorrow, no problem. Maybe after this next trip I could go ahead and retorque those manifold studs, and then maybe I could go ahead and put that fender liner back in. Or we'll wait till spring, who knows. It's a gorgeous day and headed to the mountains again. Me and Dog. Hi Dog. And we're going up to do another work party with some friends. The trip that we made up a couple days ago in Copper Toad, and discovered a tree down, and well, there's some other work that needs to be done in a parking lot up there, so we've got a group going up. I don't know how much of it I'll get filmed, but I can't believe how nice this day is. Almost no clouds. I see just a little bit of clouds straight ahead. There is marginally more snow up here than the other day. Not a lot, but a little bit more. It's too bad there's not a lot more, because this would be an awesome day to snowmobile, given how nice the weather is. I'm up at the meeting point, this big parking lot, and from when I was up here on Monday, somebody's been up here and actually done some work, the stuff that we came up to do today. So we've got a lot less to do, and for some of these guys it might be a wasted trip. Oh well, nothing I can do about it now because they're all en route. Apparently only the Fords show up to work. Well, the road's a little better. Put some gravel down, spread around with the tractor. This road here, this section was full of potholes, and this leads into our snow park and is really tough on equipment coming in, so it's better now. Not perfect, we're a little late in the season to be doing this kind of work. Just winched this big tree out of the way. About a foot of snow. So I don't know how well you can see behind me. There's a Ford pickup, about a 79. He's running in two-wheel drive, and he's still following me up through here. Where'd he go? He's doing a fine job. Honestly, I wouldn't have thought he was going to make it this far. We're almost to the top where we're getting ready to go down. So, he's doing well. He made it! As did the other Ford. We're checking for downed trees up here. You know, where we were earlier today and cutting trees out. We thought on the way back home we'd check a couple other roads that are snowmobile trails. So we just had come up, that was Bear Creek Road we came up, and the kid driving that Ford pickup, he doesn't have four-wheel drive in it right now. So he figured he'd come up as far as he could, and as it turned out, he made it clear to the top. So good for him. So it's all downhill from here. I don't think we're going to find any trees, but if we do, we'll stop and cut them out. That's going to wrap up another episode of Procrastination Garage. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. Remember, the goal of Procrastination Garage, keep me motivated to get me out in the shop, out in the yard, up in the mountains, wherever, and getting something done. So I'm not sitting around watching YouTube and TikTok. So secondary is to entertain you guys. I hope I'm doing that. Please like, please hit the subscribe button, and please let your friends know. And my name is Matt. This is Procrastination Garage, and we will see you next week.